Hello and welcome back to the Grand Finale blog. Today we're going to talk real quickly about creating a mid-score pickup measure, which is something I hear about quite a bit. And I think the biggest issue that people run into when trying to do that is they try to create the mid-score pickup measure the same fashion they would to create the pickup measure for the first measure of a piece. They'll go up to your document menu, they'll go down to pickup measure. So if we want to use measure 2 as our example where we want to create the mid-measure pickup measure, or mid-score pickup measure, we'll select it, go up to your document menu, choose pickup measure. It'll allow us to change what we want to do, a quarter note, and then we'll click OK, and you'll see what it does. It actually doesn't apply it to the measure we selected to, it applies it to the first measure of the document, and redid the measure numbers. But that's not what we want. We actually want to use measure 2 and have the beat 4 become a pickup for measure 3. Easiest way to do this is to use the plugin split measure. So we'll select that measure, head up to the plugins menu, choose measures, and then split measure. This will give us the split measure option. We want to split measure after beat 3. We want the bar line to be invisible because we'll add our own double bar line there. And then this third option down here, move second part of a split measure to next system. It's kind of a personal preference. It'll move that if it can, if there aren't measures afterwards. It'll move that second part of that split measure down to a new system and really create a good look. So we'll go ahead and apply that, and you'll see right away that it's separated out. And you can kind of see it as I'm dragging the dashed lines now split after beat 3 in measure 2. So we'll go ahead and add a bar line for the end of measure 2. And you can see how we now have measure 2, what was once measure 2, is now split, but is not included in the measure number, which is a nice feature. So if we go back to our score and page layout, you can see that we have a nice first phrase with a double bar, and the next phrase begins with a pickup measure into measure 3. Now that's the easiest way to create the pickup measure within a score. You'll want to use the actual document menu pickup measure option only for the first measure, if even for that. We talk about that in an earlier post on the blog, the advantages and disadvantages to using that for your first measure plugin. The good thing about the split measure plugin is if we were going to play the document, it plays back correctly. It gives us the 3 counts, 3 beats in measure 2 and 1 beat in the new pickup measure, unlike using the document menu pickup measure option, which doesn't actually play back correctly. Now that's the easiest way to do it. There is the manual way to do that. So if we were to just close out of this document, go up to our recent scores, back here, what you could do is just erase one of the notes and do the manual method by changing the time signatures. We'd want this to be a 3/4 measure, selecting to use a different time signature for display, 4/4. We do not want to rebar the music. Delete that extra measure. And then we want to take what is measure 3 now, turn that into a 1/4 measure. and then enter in our pickup. Now, this is a couple more steps, but the good thing about this, doing it manually, is that you know exactly what's been done to your document, and you know it's going to play back correctly, and you know how the beats are divided. With the plugin, it's always a little sketchy because we're not exactly sure the steps the plugin takes to create the layout, or the mid-measure pickup, or mid-score pickup in this case. So one last step in this is measure numbering, because you'll notice that our pickup measure is still being numbered. So we want to select our measure tool, double click into that measure, and we want to uncheck include in measure numbering, because we do not want the pickup measure included. Click OK. Voila, we have our new pickup measure. Go back to the selection tool, choose our bar line. Then you can adjust your layout the way you'd like it. You see it kind of adjust it basically the same way anyway. So that's it. Those are the two ways that you can create a pickup measure mid-score. Thanks for reading.